strap up, protect your chains, and make sure your Broncos coverage isn't...
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to the In-COM-PLETE podcast, where your coast-to-coast hosts provide you with news, coverage, and opinions of all things Denver Broncos, plus anything else that is on our minds. I am Ty, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and best friend Kelly. When will the heartbreak end? When will the heartbreak end?
In sports?
Yes.
Never. I mean, sports breaks everyone's hearts consistently.
That's true. Actually, let me rephrase that. When will we stop losing on the last play of the game? This season.
When our coaches stop being outcoached.
I agree wholeheartedly. As you can tell, things did not go well for the Denver Broncos. I don't know. I was listening and reading all the stuff, and one thing kind of came to my attention. One thing that I really thought about, and I wanted to ask you this question: which one was more heartbreaking, the loss to the Colts or the loss to the Chargers?
I think the Chargers.
You think the Chargers? I would actually have to say the Colts one.
The Colts is a bad ref call. They decided to pull leverage out of their back pocket. They, delay a game, you spiked the ball. Oh, some fingertips got by, face mask, so we're gonna push back again. The Colt one, I can really go. It was really badly officiated, and like the juju was just against us.
Mm-hmm.
But the divisional game that we should have won, that now, like the indie game's an AFC thing, so in the playoff picture, it could mean something potentially. But this divisional game, absolutely. And now the Chargers are freaking set. They're 3-0 in the division.
Yep. I think that might be the worst part of it all.
So, I mean, this really kind of, it's only 3 weeks in, but it's still kind of put a dagger in a lot of things. Like we might, if we had won this game and, the season continue, I don't know how the season will continue, but if it came down to it and, oh man, but we lost that Colts game, I think we could live with that. But now that it potentially is going to be, but we lost to the freaking Chargers, it's not going to be something we like.
Right. Divisional games are very important in the grand scheme of things. And I think the whole matter of the thing is that not only was it a divisional game, it was an AFC game. And that's the second AFC game we've lost. I mean, we haven't played any NFC team so far, but the fact that we're already 1-2 in our own conference is a little bit, I wouldn't say concerning right now, since we have, I think we still have 11 more games? No, 10 more games. No, we have 9 more. Oh gosh, see, this is the whole thing. So I think it's 9 more games left against the AFC. I think I got it there. So I think at this point, every game is going to be important, but getting those key conference wins when it comes to tiebreakers is going to be very important. And the fact that we're starting off 1-2, not a good look right now. But we'll see what happens. So we welcome you all to this podcast. I think we're just going to jump right into it because I don't think there's any other. I could come up with 500 different ways to explain how that game went, or really how the last two games went. But I think we should just provide the facts as to what went wrong, what went right, among other things. So, as tradition, we lost the Chargers 23-20 on a last-second field on a game-ending field goal. Was there any good from that game?
Denver did not commit a turnover.
Yes, they did not commit a turnover. That is one positive. Oh, that was another thing. I think there was actually I think they were +2 in the turnover battle. And usually when you're like +2 or more in the turnover battle, I think it's like almost every time you win. I don't remember.
Well, I mean, that's what I said about our game versus the Titans. We lost that turnover battle big time, but we still got the victory.
Yep.
So yes, most times if you win the turnover battle, you win. But not every time.
Not every time. So that is a positive. Thankfully that we were able to do that. Just so unfortunate it didn't get to the point where we won. I have to give a little bit of credit to Cortland Sutton. Had a really bad, didn't have, actually, he wasn't really targeted a whole, I think he was targeted 4 times in the Colts game, only had 1 catch. Came back and got 6 receptions, 118 yards, and 1 touchdown. Outside of a couple other guys I'll probably be talking about later, or maybe you'll be talking about later, I think Cortland Sutton, I think his game would have probably been more noticeable had he caught that 3rd down pass before we punted it away and the Chargers marched down the field and won on the field goal.
I have JK, the 3 carries for 66 yards on 1 drive.
I have JK do too. I just really, I just want to put a point of emphasis on J.K. Dobbins for a second. I would really love for Denver to utilize him more to start the game. And our offensive line, which I'll be talking about later on, to set him up for success. If he can do these kinds of plays in the 3rd quarter, in the 4th quarter of games, why are we not utilizing him in the first half? Which is probably something you're going to talk about in your bad, so we will get right into that. Or maybe even your ugly, actually. Nick Bonito, 4 tackles. I think he had 4 tackles and 2 sacks. Part of a Broncos defense that had 5 sacks the entire game, where Bo only got sacked 1 time. So it's like, yay, we won the sack battle. We got home to the quarterback. Too bad those 5 sacks didn't really result in victory.
And that's then I have Jonas Ellis's forced fumble.
Yes. If that had turned into 7 points, I think we'd be celebrating a victory instead of gloom and doom. That's all I had on good.
That's all I got.
All right, I think this part of it here is probably what's going to end up taking up a good 20 minutes of our time. So, have at it. What's the bad?
I don't the offense as a whole. There's just no timing somehow and no rhythm. And we have talked about this from game 1, where Bo looks unsettled and he's not setting his feet. And it's just confusing how Sean Payton can't set up this offense for success from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand if it's like a slow start kind of thing or if it's just it's like the whole goal of the game is to play the entire 60 minutes. But it seems like most times only playing like about 30 minutes, maybe even a little less. I probably would say somewhere like definitely not really playing the first quarter. Waiting until like maybe 5 minutes to go into the second quarter to start playing, having a great third quarter, and then maybe a good 5 to 6 minutes of the fourth quarter, and then we just stop. We just absolutely stop. I kind of want to tie. Well, actually, I'll tie that in with coaching. But
Well,
go ahead. You're good.
because in these one-score games under Sean Payton, we've had 11 of them, and we're 2-9.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lack of killer instinct. I mean, what is that? Where we're probably going to have the conversation again later on, where I get frustrated because I have a stat that's very interesting. I get frustrated because all the blame's going to fall on Bo, and I mean, I can debate that all day, but also, if the offense has a lead and the defense needs to come up with one stop, there's no killer instinct on that side of the ball either.
Right.
So when the defense makes a stop and gives our offense enough time to go get a winning drive, and everyone says, oh, well, see, that's the offense's fault. The defense set you up to succeed. Why is it not the defense's fault when the offense has the lead and the defense needs to make one stop and can't do it? And in this situation, they had 2 times to make a stop and they couldn't do it. Bo had them up by 2 scores in the last 4 minutes, and defense couldn't make either stop and let them score both times.
Right. Yeah, that's actually another thing. Because that part, the killer instinct part, was in my ugly. So sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, but that's what I mean. On both sides of the ball, there's the slow start to the offense and just not getting into a rhythm so that we can't march down the field. We can't get scores for some reason. But then on the flip side, Vance Joseph, you don't have a killer instinct either. Yeah, and that's why I say both sides of the ball somehow are being outcoached in crucial minutes of the game.
Exactly. And that was actually kind of a part of my ugly was, and we'll get to one part of it, but yeah, the killer instinct. Denver was up 17-10. There were plenty. Oh no, that was previous. Sorry, reverse back. 17-10. Like, yeah, like the whole point is, and the special teams when Denver went up 14-10 was able to get that forced fumble to give the offense the opportunity. Granted, they get the field goal, still put us up by 7. So worst case scenario, the Chargers tie the game up and hopefully the offense gets into a rhythm. But I really felt like ever since Denver went up 17-0, I feel like it's always that once Denver goes up by 1 score, the offense just lays down like, oh yeah, the defense will carry us, no big deal. But the defense is gonna have a bad day.
Doesn't carry.
Exactly.
I get so tired of hearing, oh, the defense carries this team. The defense isn't carrying. The offense is giving the defense the lead. The defense needs to make one stop, and they're not making the stop. How is that the defense? The defense hasn't scored any damn points for us.
Right.
How is the defense
Exactly.
Scoring. I mean, I've already said this when they go, oh, this is almost as good as, our no-fly defense. No, it's not, because that no-fly defense scored points.
Yep.
When Manning couldn't score points, that defense scored the points.
Mm-hmm.
That defense carried a team. This is not a defense carrying a team. This is a defense that has some really good games. But again, I go back to even game one. If Ridley doesn't drop those passes, that defense doesn't win that game. We are giving that defense credit for Ridley's pat drops.
Yep. Absolutely.
I love defense. I love my defensive guys, but I'm getting really tired of this narrative that, oh, the defense carries this team. The defense, we have led, I'm gonna drop the stat. We have trailed 0 minutes in a fourth quarter this season.
I did see that. Yep.
And we have lost 2 out of 3 games while leading in the fourth quarter. That is not a defense-led team. That is an offense scoring just enough and the defense not holding up its half.
Mm-hmm.
And then special teams, and then,
That's another story for a different day.
yes. So I get tired of this. Oh, well, the offense can't. The offense can't. The defense can't either.
Yeah. If you really look at it, it's not only the offense's fault that they can't score points. It's also the defense's point that they can't stop the opposing team from scoring points. So there's definitely some, like, they need to collaborate and figure something out, because that.
Well, that's both sides of the ball. Sean Payton and Van Joseph are being outcoached.
Yep. Yeah. It's tough. It is tough indeed. Speaking of defense, if you're watching this, or if you end up watching this, or you're listening to this, you might want to record this part, because this is probably the first time, and hopefully the last time, that to put this player in the bad. And that was Patrick Surtain not wrapping up that tackle on that first drive of the game. Kelly's got some thoughts.
I can't stand that.
Yeah.
I cannot say. It is Pee Wee football. You wrap up the tackle.
Yep. You don't just.
I know you're. I know you're big men. Which to me, you're kind of not anymore, because you're younger than my youngest son. So to me, sometimes I look at him and go, "Oh, they're boys." Because I've now aged. I've gone from where these guys are as old as my daddy to, oh, well, they're just in college and I'm in high school. They're just out of college. I'm in high school. To, oh, I'm kind of the same age as them. To, oh, I'm just a little over to them. To now, like, oh crap, they're the same age as my kids. Okay, and I get it. The shoulder tackle, the wanted to stop them. I get it. It doesn't stop them all. You have to. I don't know how else to say it. I've screamed it from the rooftops. I've whispered it into the wind. I used to always threaten that I was just going to hire an airplane and fly a banner.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess and again, this just goes back to, and this I'm going to kind of change the subject, because this goes back to the penalties that are killing us. These are the small details that make us losers. Winners pay attention to those small details.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches pay attention to those small details.
Right.
Successful people, when you talk about, I mean, in any realm, well, I always make sure my shoes are tight. It's always some small detail, and the penalties and the missed tackles and the misused timeouts and the questionable play calling are all signs that someone or no one is paying attention to the small details. And wrapping up and making sure your guy is down is a small detail. Expect it, and it should be a very small detail for the freaking defensive player of the year. So coaching is letting it go. Captains are letting it go. The professionals themselves are letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had talked up the culture of the Denver Broncos, and this is a team that has a good culture, and everyone seems to be happy. And I'm starting to regret those words because it's starting to look like it's a culture where they don't hold themselves and each other accountable on the level that successful teams need to.
Absolutely.
Now, they all say the right thing on the mic. You know, Bo says, of course, it's all my fault. All the receivers say, oh, no, we got to make plays for a young quarterback. The defense says, no, that's our guy. We'll step up if they're having a bad day. They all say the right thing to the public. But some of that accountability to each other is missing.
Yeah.
And that starts with the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd be livid with how this team is making penalties. And I know everyone has told me that I can't make NFL players run suicides or, run the bleachers because they've messed up. But there's got to be something you can do.
Wasn't there like a college coach that did that though? Even though I think they won.
Well, and that's what they say. That's what. Yeah.
It's like the Syracuse coach did.
Clemson, Syracuse. I knew it was an orange team. Yes, and you can do it to kids. You can do it when you're the adult and they are children.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't make someone getting paid $25 million run suicides because they got a penalty. Like, that doesn't happen in the NFL. I would love to think that it does. And oh my goodness, people fumbling, I would so be like, I want to see a football in your hand, and if anybody punches it out, you give me, and it's the same with baseball. I would love, to see people having to do push-ups because they pop the ball up. I would love if that really translated into, grown-ups, but grown-ups can't treat other grown-ups that way. But I just something has to happen.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to go back onto your the whole, like, the coaches say they'll change, the players say they'll change, and it kind of reminded me of like when we had first met. Like, there was like one thing you'd always said to me, like something along the lines of, words mean so little when your actions mean so much more. And that's kind of where I'm seeing it. Like, if the coaches, the players, and everyone on that team is saying like, oh, we'll get better, that's not going to do it for the fan. You've got to show that you've been improving on reducing your penalties, reducing your mistakes, being able to make those throws, being able to make that block. Because if you say what you're going to say and you don't do it, that's a problem.
It's a bad partner in a relationship, right?
Yeah. Very bad partner.
I mean, I joke that, I'm in a toxic relationship with my sports teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I know no one needs to call a psychiatrist. I know it's not a real relationship. But you get frustrated at the talk. You get frustrated at anything that's I have students that look at me all the time. Oh, yes, teacher. Okay, teacher. I'll stop, teacher. And not 30 seconds later.
Yes.
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 Yes, teacher. Okay, teacher. I'll stop, teacher. That's not enough. Now you have to go sit down.
Mm-hmm.
I
had that happen today. So perfect.
At some point, and because they're professional football players and not my students, I can't take their recess away.
Yeah. I mean,
I can't take 5 minutes of their fun Friday away to try and hone in that, no, I need you to be a certain way all the time. But, the same as if a class is completely out of control and can't get through the lesson, that blame goes back on the teacher because you've set a culture in which the students don't stop. The students don't respect what the classroom environment is for.
Mm-hmm.
And so the same with coaching, even though these are adult men, coaching other adult men, Sean Payton now for 3 weeks has just allowed a culture that, we don't know how to line up. We false start. We go, Hufanga made a terrible, terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Like there was no reason for that.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of makes me, it kind of brings me to the point, like these little mistakes. It's like, it's really difficult to explain. Like I would feel like when it comes to things like that, you should understand the impact it has on the game itself. We are driving, like, and I think going on the penalties, I believe the Chargers had like, gosh, what was it, like 29 first downs or something like that. And out of Denver's 10 penalties they committed in that game, 6 of them were on the defense that resulted in a Chargers new set of downs. And so basically,
Yeah, I have that. I have that in the ugly.
Okay. Sorry, didn't mean to steal your
No,
spot.
it's okay. It's hard because it all starts to pile and come together. It was a
Yep.
complete loss.
Yes.
Where like I felt like with the Colts, we made a couple mistakes and the game slipped away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can let it go, okay. But, and I still feel like some of it was stolen from us.
Mm-hmm.
But the Chargers, I feel like, was just a complete loss across the board. You could see it in coaching. You could see it in discipline. I mean, you called the other episode undisciplined. What are you going to call this one? Even more undisciplined?
I wish I could, but no, that's not going to work out.
I mean, so you know what I mean? Like we looked even more and more penalties and more crucial penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just this one. I mean, the coaching, the penalties, the play calling, the blocking, I'm sure we'll talk about the receivers not laying out, the defense just completely laying down. Like it was just a complete. I keep thinking of the water boy. Oh no, we suck again.
Oh no, we suck again. Sorry, I just watched that movie recently, so yeah, it's starting to pile on. So I don't know. My only other bad, other than what we have already covered, I mentioned a little bit about offensive line, but I swear. So during the off season, I was kind of shocked, and this is something that a lot of Twitter and everyone else has said, that the 2 big things that they were hoping that Denver would have hit on was inside linebacker, which we talked about in nauseam last week with Alex Singleton, and then with tight ends. Granted, Evan Ingram is good when he's healthy. He hasn't been healthy enough to play for the most part. But one thing that I zeroed in on that I'm starting to notice is that Denver really needs to find someone at center because Luke Wattenberg just got blown up. It felt like almost every single play.
I would say the left guard too needs help.
Ben Powers, yeah, he definitely needs help too. Ben Powers is being paid like crap ton of money. Maybe not crap ton, but close. Maybe half of
a metric ton.
Yes.
Half a crap ton.
But he's still making mistakes. And then there were quite a few times with Luke Wattenberg. And one play I'll put specifically was when Denver was up 17-10. Jonah Ellis just gave the Broncos the football back on that fumble you mentioned. I believe it was the second play after that. Bo Nix stepped up. He saw Marvin Mims all alone in the end zone, and Marvin Mims didn't catch it. I think Bo Nix couldn't really step into it because when I saw the play, Luke Wattenberg just got shoved aside like he was a rag doll, and Bo Nix couldn't step into it, set his feet enough to throw the ball, get it to Nix to Nix. How crazy would that be? To Marvin Mims, if Wattenberg just gave him like a half second to step into it, get his feet set, throw it in there, that's probably a touchdown, and Denver's up 21-10. Maybe that probably would have been enough. But gosh, Luke Wattenberg, get it together. Block better, please.
The game of football has changed. And I'm not going to pretend that, what I was taught in the 80s and 90s is still true. But the number one thing I was always told was if it hits your hands, you have to catch it.
Right.
And while it wasn't a super duper thrown, perfect pass, it was off a little bit because Jude got in his face. But also, I don't know, Mims and Franklin stop running. And I don't, or they slow up. They slow up because they turn to look for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always told you're not supposed to do that. You head down and run. And so on the quote overthrows, looking at the film, the receivers all pulled up at a point, and again, I don't know how you know where the ball is. I mean, but I've seen so many receivers used to catch over the shoulder. Like they just put their hands out and the ball was going to be there. There wasn't a ton of looking back.
Right.
And in recent years, there's a lot more. You got to look back. You got to look back. So I don't know if the throwing game has changed. I don't know if the receiving game has changed. I don't know if these are still kind of typically young receivers. And so they don't know. Stop looking back and just run. You can't run fast if you keep looking back. You're supposed to put your head down and run.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you got to lay out for it, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You can't just, I didn't make it. No, you are supposed to launch yourself. That's on your fingertips. Launch yourself to pull in that ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's easy for me to say, way over here sitting on my couch, chowing down on Wingstop, but that's what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
And so Bo Nix does kind of get the air out under those balls. He's not been overly accurate, and I can accept that. But also, those receivers are supposed to make a play. The responsibility falls on the receivers to make a play. We used to see Emmanuel Sanders freaking half cartwheel, turn 87 degrees and duck in order to catch his ball.
Mm-hmm. Don't see much of that.
I used to joke Emmanuel Sanders couldn't catch it if it just came to him. And everyone goes up to get a ball. I mean, I feel like our receivers kind of stay on their feet and kind of go, okay, this is where the ball's supposed to be. The ball's not here.
Right.
And I feel like those weren't as badly thrown as the Twitter coaches are saying they were. When you look at the 22 and watch the receivers running.
Right.
And that they slow down and they pull up. And some of it seems reasonable because, hey, I got to find the ball. But, football's supposed to come over the shoulder and land in your hands. There's not supposed to be a whole lot of looking back behind you for it.
Right.
But again, that goes back to coaching. It goes back to holding each other accountable. It goes back to Bo. You know, everyone got on Bo because Bo was yelling at the receiver during the Titans game, you know, because he wanted them to stop. And everyone said, well, you can't yell at your receivers like that. Well, then how are you going to play together if you're not communicating?
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, in football, sometimes communication looks like yelling because it is yelling.
Right. Oh well. That's all I had on everything. Unless you had some more.
And I'm gonna say that, I mean, I feel like the receivers need to make a ball, but there is kind of a silver lining to that. Is Bo is making those throws and not putting the ball in danger. So I want us to give credit to Bo that he is reading the coverage.
Exactly.
So his footwork is still kind of iffy. I see the unsettled footwork and upsetting his feet. You know, but I don't know how much of that is pressure because, like you said, sometimes it seems like he's feeling ghosts, and he might be.
Mm-hmm.
So he might not be setting his feet because he's suddenly panicked. He doesn't know where the line is, and that goes back to the left guard and center, in my opinion, which I think leads to why the run game doesn't get going early. And Sean Payton is notorious for panicking and bailing out of the run game.
Right.
When it doesn't, and that goes back to we can't get a tempo, we can't get a rhythm, we can't sustain a drive because it's 3rd and 20, it's 3rd and 10, it's 3rd and 12.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it doesn't help when you throw a screen and the guy slips.
Yeah, I forgot that happened.
And it doesn't help when you call a screen and two people miss the blocks they're supposed to pick up.
Right.
So this can't all be, I mean, it's going to fall on the quarterback, but it most definitely isn't all on Bo.
Yeah. One thing I don't kind of get is the whole, and this will be the last little thing I talk about for this game anyways. Everyone's like 3 games in already ready to give up on Bo. Like I've seen some of the Twitter like give up on like, so this kind of proves that if we had a successful quarterback after Peyton Manning all those years ago, I'm sorry, but I feel like if we had drafted Josh Allen, we would have ran him out of town after like the first 6 games.
Of course we would have. I mean, of course we would. But there's no patience.
There's none at all.
I mean, but I'm telling you, Peyton went and found Bo, and Bo is his guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna, if it's the nail in his coffin, it's a nail in his coffin. He is not gonna pull the plug and put Stidham in and say, "Oh, whoops, my bad, I was wrong."
Right.
Sean Payton has declared. I forget the joke. It has declared it. Declared Bo Nix is the guy.
Yep.
That's it. Bo Nix is finishing the season.
Yeah.
I mean, pending injury or you know, something catastrophic. But Peyton has made it very clear. I found my guy. This is who fits my scheme. This is who I'm building this team around. This is it. We are a Super Bowl team. This is it.
Yep.
He's not, especially in week 4, he's not pulling Bo out and putting in Stidham for anything.
Oh, absolutely not.
So you can type it all you want on Twitter, but it ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna change anything.
So as another ugly, I have On that not to harp too much on the defense, but on that final drive, not one single pass rush.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's I don't understand if that was just them playing, like trying to prevent them from getting yards, but if you're gonna do that, have faith in your secondary, which granted didn't really work out that well, and let your front seven or rush your six or rush your five, whatever you want to do, get some
Well,
pressure
because
on.
once we got
Jordan.
Herbert rattled, he
Mm-hmm.
was not, he came out with his hair on fire and like we weren't going to be able to stop him. And once he started to get rattled, he slowed down.
Exactly.
And then we take our foot off we get the gas.
Like, oh, we got him. No big deal. It's a 60-minute game. Keep your foot on that gas.
The penalties.
Yeah.
Again, so many of the penalties. One, that's part of the reason we can't get into a rhythm. Second, the offense then is sitting in third and long all game.
Yep.
And then defense can't get off the field.
Yep.
And again, the coaches can't make you run suicide. That's going to come down to captains looking at each other and captains looking at the team going, what are we doing?
Exactly.
I have so we committed 10 penalties for 90 yards, so we gave them one full length of the field basically.
Mm-hmm.
Of the fact that the first downs, Broncos had 9 to the Chargers 29. And as you already stated, 6 of those were due to penalties.
Yep.
But still, again, defense can't get themselves off the field.
Yeah.
Third down, we are only 2 of 13.
Yeah, that was really tough.
When the Chargers were only 8 of 17, but 7 of our second downs were for 10 plus yards.
Mm-hmm.
And only 3 of our third downs weren't 8 or more yards.
Yeah, I think I heard like a stat about how the majority of like our third down conversions, like the average yards to go was like 8.4, 8.5. That's not going to win you football games if you have to drive. Basically, if you're only getting 1 yard on first down or 1 yard on second down, getting into a third or 8 or longer, that's tough to manage. And that's not going to do you any good going into any
and so then we had 48 total plays to the Chargers 80 total plays.
They almost doubled us in plays. That's not good. So done. I'm done.
I'm done.
Done.
That's it.
That's it. Show's over.
Those are all
Bye,
my
everyone.
No, I mean it was this is what I mean. It was a really bad game. Last week there was some bad, there was some ugly, a lot of it was penalties, a lot of it was just one stupid thing. But this game, I mean, which shoe is the, you go back to your question, which one is the worst? This was just a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the Denver Broncos are going to have them. They're always going to have them. Like, the Denver Broncos are not going to, go on a run, like De La Salle and go like 12 years undefeated.
Right.
They're going to have bad games, and that's fine. But they're starting to stack because, everyone keeps bringing up at this point last season, we were 1-2, but hopeful.
Right.
And this year, at this point in this season, we're 1-2, and we're all firing everybody and benching everybody.
It's like a fire dumpster sale. Well, not fire dumpster. It's like a fire dumpster, basically. The sky,
And
no,
I
the
don't feel
sky is
like
falling.
but I don't feel like we're at that point yet.
Mhm.
It's a bad game, and it's the second bad game in a row, and what was kind of supposed to be an easy stretch for us.
Right. But now now Broncos fans are claiming like, oh, these next couple games are going to be easy because you got a backup quarterback. Okay, our tough game is against the defending Super Bowl champions, but then you got the Jets and the Giants, who we're going to talk about the Giants here in a second. It's like, oh, that we should go 3-1 in those games any given Sunday. The Giants, Jackson Dart. Oh gosh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Could have the
Okay.
game of his life. So I actually might tie into that for around the NFL, if that's okay
Yeah,
with you.
we're ready to go. We're done, so we
Yes,
can start.
we're done.
We need like a we need a soundbite. We need like a
Transition.
a car that goes. I know. I always
There
envision a car like we're driving.
we go.
But I guess I don't know things that go around merry-go-round. Well, I don't want to do a merry-go-round. It looks too much like the quarterback carousel. Um,
Yeah, let's not
a
do that.
Ferris wheel.
A Ferris wheel,
We could
that's
do a
good.
Ferris wheel, and each car has the team logo on it,
Oh,
like
okay.
it's spinning.
I can actually see if I can do something like that. To be announced later. But let's go around the carousel and let's visit the Big Apple or East Rutherford, wherever you like to. I think it's the official term. We all
Well,
thought,
they're in New Jersey. They're not in New York. They're in a whole different state of New Jersey.
yeah, East Rutherford, New Jersey. So let's go there. A lot of Broncos fans are saying, "Oh, we're circling Week 7 because this is gonna be the Russell Wilson revenge game." Well, we're not gonna get that because he has been benched after 3 games. He has been benched. The the Giants have decided that they are going to roll with Jackson Dart, the first round quarterback they drafted, 25th overall, for the remainder of the season, and Russell Wilson's going to back him up. Giants are 0-3 to start. While I do admit it might be a little soon, what I have heard was that Jackson Dart impressed very much during training camp and preseason. So with all that saying, I think it was probably only a matter of time until Russell was going to get benched. And a lot of people in the New York media are believing his game against Kansas City, when he had like 18 overthrows, from my understanding, was what put the nail in the coffin for him. So we will see Jackson Dart in Week 7, unless any kind of injury happens unless there's some kind of injury. That's it. Yeah. We got a rookie quarterback starting the remaining 14 games for the New York Giants.
Well, as of now,
As of now, yes.
Jackson Dart goes and throws like 4 pick sixes in a row. Don't be surprised they make another change. Part of me is a little jealous.
How so?
I want to go hang on the sideline next to Jameis Winston.
No, that's fair.
Not worry about being put in the game and just kick it with Jameis. On a Sunday watching a football game. I don't know, that kind of doesn't seem like a punishment to me. But Wilson, unfortunately, is going to become one of those stories that could have had a storybook ending, and I don't know, like those books where you could pick your next adventure.
Yep.
He picked the wrong one.
Yeah.
He ended up in the quicksand that I thought was going to be way more a part of my life than it turned out to be.
Right.
As a Seahawk, he went 108 to 64-1.
Okay.
Okay. 2 Super Bowls, one victory. Since he's left the Seahawks, well, in that time, 108 victories, he only had 1 losing season.
Right.
Since he's left, he's had one winning season, and he's 17-27 overall, and being benched for. And if Jackson Dart, turns out to be, this Peyton Manning lookalike, okay, great, but where he was after the Super Bowl victory, even where he was after the Super Bowl loss,
Mm-hmm.
riding the bench by week 4 on a team that really doesn't have Super Bowl probability is not where you'd want that career to end.
Right.
Now, it's possible because of how he works that, he could have something else lined up, or he could work a trade to somewhere. But the only place I can think of that he might end up going, a place that needs a quarterback, is New Orleans. And that team's got nothing going for it too. So that's even worse than if you trot yourself out there mid-season in New Orleans.
For what?
For what?
Yeah, I think there was I don't think he came out specifically, but there was a report that's saying that he has no intention to retire. And that's kind of where I draw the line, in the sense where, sometimes in sports there are athletes that I feel retire either too early or they retire too late. I think we're starting to get into that point in Russ Wilson's career where he, in order to not damage his legacy so much, I'm not saying retire for the sake of retiring. I'm just saying do what's best for you. You've done just about you got a Super Bowl. You've done everything you need to do. There's got to be a time where you just know in the back of your head, I just don't have it anymore. I think it's time for me to find other endeavors in my life.
It's very hard. A lot of athletes have talked about that. My confusion with Russell Wilson and this not retiring is he has never really put football first.
Right.
He has always talked about being a man of faith first. He has always talked about being a husband first. He has always talked about being a father first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's broke.
Right.
I mean, no one come out and go, oh, he's really playing because, someone else got his money. So I'm unclear what he's trying to hold on to. Now, a lot of athletes have talked about, yes, I should have retired. I wasn't ready to go. I thought my body could do it and it couldn't. And maybe that's the headspace he's in.
Mm-hmm.
But, he kind of stopped being a football player when he came to Denver, when he brought his own people and he wanted his own office and he wanted, and like I said, the biggest red flag was, players couldn't have his phone number. These are your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
So football wasn't first.
Right.
So football hasn't been first for you for a long time. Why are you freaking in East Rutherford, New Jersey, getting pulled in week 4 of a season?
Probably doesn't bother him because he's still collecting that last paycheck that Denver's going to give him.
But we're going to give him that regardless. If he retires, we don't get off the hook.
Right.
So I say again, why are you
in East Rutherford, New Jersey? I mean, that's probably a question that only Russell Wilson can answer.
Okay.
All right, you go ahead.
So I know you have something that ties into this, so I'll go with it. Okay. There were 4 blocked field goals on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
All of them were in the fourth quarter. And that is the most, and they all seem to happen within 30 minutes of each other, which is brand new. But that's the most blocked field goals since 1991.
Ooh.
A lot of field goals don't get blocked.
Yeah, so we had the Rams getting their field goal blocked. We had the Packers getting their field goal blocked. Who else?
2 Eagle kicks were blocked.
Mm.
The Browns blocked the Packers. The New York Jets blocked
The Bucks.
Bucks.
Right. Oh. Yes. That's right. The Rams had 2 field goals blocked in that game. That's right. And then the last one ended up being very rough. 1991. That's crazy. So tying into that, let's go with the Rams one since they had 2 field goals blocked. The last one being really crucial. So the Rams, if we all remember last season in the playoffs, the Los Angeles Rams were the biggest challenge that the Eagles faced throughout that entire playoff run. LA had a 26-7 lead, and I'm fairly certain it was like going into like towards the end of the third, maybe going into the fourth quarter. They let a 19-point lead slip away. That included the blocked field goal that you mentioned. The Eagles stormed down, got a touchdown, and the extra point, which made it 27-26. No, they got a touchdown, but they missed, I guess, on their 2-point conversion, which made it 27-26. Keep in mind that the spread was +3.5. So for all you bettors that were hoping on that were betting on that spread, were really, really kicking yourself, well, not kicking yourselves, just downright mad when the Rams got their game-winning field goal blocked. Because granted, had the Rams not had that field goal blocked, they would have won the game by 2, which means the Eagles would have covered. But instead it turns to a block, and the Eagles turn down for a touchdown, and the Eagles win by 6 points, which means the spread was not covered. And bettors are probably upset about that big time. But give credit to the Eagles. I guess this is the reason why they won the title in the first place, because they're resilient. As much as I don't like giving them credit because I live in this area. But man, that's got to be a very heartbreaking way to lose a game. Just let a 19-point lead with like 20 minutes to go in the game just escape you like that. And then the Packers won. You mentioned that the Packers are going to go up 13-10. Like it's under 2 minutes go. Their field gets blocked. Cleveland drives down the field and kicks a field goal and wins. And again, I'm already giving the Eagles the credit. I did not realize how strong the Browns defense was. The fact that they held the Packers to 10 points was impressive enough. The fact that they won that game, I'm just looking at myself like,
Any given Sunday.
Yeah, but like
I don't understand. Any given Sunday.
Yep. And any given Sunday,
all teams have bad games.
Yep.
Packers have come out, playing hard, winning their games, and then, they didn't watch the trap game.
Nope. Trap game was not watched. I have one more, but I'm gonna bend the rules a little bit here because it's a non around the NFL moment.
Okay, well let's do I have 2 more.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I have just FYI, first NFL game ever is in Dublin.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers are going to play. Steelers are the home team there.
Vikings are the home team there.
Oh, Vikings are the home team. Okay. So Steelers, Vikings in Ireland. Go watch. I don't know. I don't know. Just it's up new, it's up different. We haven't played an NFL game. And then I wanted your opinion. As awesome as Derrick Henry is,
Mm-hmm.
and as much credit as he gets, he's had 3 fumbles in 3 games.
Yes.
One with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter versus Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
They lost that game.
Yep.
One with 12 minutes, 6 seconds in the second versus the Browns. The Ravens recovered. The Ravens won that game.
Mm-hmm.
And one with 8 minutes and 31 seconds to go in the fourth versus the Lions. And the Ravens lost that game. Does Derrick Henry have a ball security problem?
Oh. Well, I will go to the Lions one because I did watch that fumble. And it does seem he's carrying the ball a little, like he's not like holding on to it as tightly as a running back should. And I would know because I was a freshman running back, 6th string running back, so sorry about that. And the one thing that coaches always told me to do is to keep the ball like tight, close to your chest, like so that way if it like gets punched out, like you're holding it tight enough, especially when you're going between the offense and defensive line. I get it. Derrick Henry is probably one of the best running backs we have seen in years. Running backs don't usually get a whole lot of spotlights. But man,
Well, they used to.
They used to. Just not as much anymore. I mean, there's like maybe 3, 4, 5 good running backs out there now. But my gosh, if I were in the NFL and my old freshman high school football coach saw me carrying the ball the way Derrick Henry is and it gets punched out, I'd be running suicides until I'm puking. So I would to answer your question, I think yeah. And
is this a flaw that gets covered up because he's so good elsewhere?
I think it is.
Is this a flaw that kind of gets over? Because I don't seem to remember him being.
No, he wasn't turnover prone a whole lot. I don't think he was really turnover prone last year.
Yeah, this hasn't been the story on him. And this is kind of not, this is kind of swept on the rug and no one we don't talk about it. But I'm going to be curious to see if it continues.
Yeah. And they play Kansas City next. So Kansas City's that defense is going to be looking to turn the ball over whichever way they can. So Derrick Henry, you better do what my high school football coach showed me. Hold that ball close to your chest and do not let go for dear life. So, yeah, I think there's some ball security issues that I think teams are going to start exploiting really soon. Some have already done it, but we're seeing this as a trend. It might be a problem later on down the road, especially when it comes to a big moment in the game. But we'll see. But I would agree with you. Ball security is an issue right now. My last around the NFL, this one's more of college football. So, you and I have been Oklahoma Sooner fans for as long as we can remember. One of Oklahoma's biggest rivals is Oklahoma State, Bedlam Series. The second longest tenured FBS coach was fired on Tuesday, and he resided in Oklahoma State. Mike Gundy, who he's been the coach. He was the coach at Oklahoma State for about as long as I've been watching college football. So
he's been the coach at Oklahoma State for over half his life.
Yes, half his life.
Over half his life.
Which is insane to think about. Mentioned the second longest tenured FBS head coach. He's gone after one to start. He only trailed Kirk Ferentz from Iowa, who has been coaching at Iowa since 1999. Gundy went 170-90 in his time in Stillwater, and he's led the Oklahoma State Cowboys to 8 10-win seasons. It might be 9 10-win seasons. He not too long ago, 2 years ago, he led the Oklahoma State Cowboys to the Big 12 title game where they'd ultimately lose to Baylor, but that's besides the point. From what I was reading and from what I was hearing was that this all started formulating last season. The Oklahoma State Cowboys they lost 11 of 12 since 2024. Their only win was to an FCS school. They'd lost after this loss to Tulsa. This was 11 losses in a row against FBS opponents. So after finishing 3-9 and going 1-2, having not won a game against an FBS school in close to a year and a half, maybe close to 2 years, that's a problem.
It might be a problem. They still should have let him finish out the season and retire.
Yeah.
They should have let him finish out the season. If the season ended as dismal as it started, they should have had a talk with him and said, look, you got to go and you're going to go. So you can retire or we can fire you. The fact that they fired him without giving him the option to leave more gracefully is sad.
Yeah. And
I know him more. I mean, he's not someone I like because he coaches the wrong school, but I had to respect how he talked to reporters in defense of his players.
Are you referring to the I'm a man, I'm 40?
But yeah, but there's other ones. There's many other ones. There's many other instances where he stood in front of the media and said, "You will not talk to my players that way."
Right.
This is not the story. How would you like it?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that I know, like playoffs. We're talking playoffs. His "I'm a man, I'm 40." Yeah, it's the soundbite that. But I mean, that's a long legacy of his, where he really protected those players from being smeared in the media,
right?
Because they're boys.
Yeah.
And they're playing a game, and he thinks they're giving their best. And even sometimes when you give your best, you're going to lose. And for the media sometimes what the media does, he was really good at that. I mean, Leach is like that too.
Mm-hmm.
Leach has a legacy of that. So that's another coach. I don't particularly like him. I don't like the teams. I don't root for the coach. The team, I don't root for him as a coach because he's on the wrong team. But how they protect their players from the media is I think sometimes is part of their bigger legacy that they should be proud of.
Absolutely.
And I think just that alone, he deserved to finish out the year.
Absolutely.
And step away and say, okay, my time has come, or my family needs me, or however he wanted to word it. He should not be packing boxes and leaving in between Saturdays.
Absolutely. So, for as much as I didn't like competitive wise, he was going to be a rival. But yeah, you got to respect him.
I mean, this goes back to when Carroll was at USC. I was not, therefore I was not a USC fan. Carroll has never coached a team at a time that I like the team.
Right.
And now he's the freaking Raiders head coach. It's like he purposely rolls the dice and decide, where can I go fuck up Kelly's weekend? I feel like Jason Kidd did the same thing in the NBA. It's just, but he got to leave his organizations with grace, and he deserved it.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I'm not ever going to root for OSU. I'm not ever going to be a Cowboy fan, in any way, shape, matter, or form. Boomer sooner till I die. But I think it's sad that he's packing boxes between Saturdays, and I think he deserves better.
Absolutely. Given what he did.
Because it's not like an interim coach is going to come in and turn that season around, and they're going to suddenly be in a bowl game.
Yeah, that's pretty much a lost season for the most part.
So let him ride it out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And he could still try to right the ship. He could right the ship a little bit.
Right.
You could put some better supports in place so when he does leave. So
time will tell. Game of the week.
I did not check the time that this game is, but I have to go with Packers at Cowboys.
Sunday night game.
Okay, so that's what they say. You pick, everyone's gonna watch the Sunday night game. Okay, well, everyone should. Both Pack and the Cowboys are coming off big losses, tough losses. Parsons is having a season. He had a sack in week 1, half a sack in week 2. He's had 15 quarterback pressures in 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
We all know the offseason drama that led to this. It's the game to watch.
Okay. I went Eagles and Bucks. It's a 1:00 game, so there you go. Both undefeated at 3-0. Tampa has been playing Philly tough recently. 2 years ago, before the Eagles got to the Super Bowl this past year, Tampa Bay knocked them out of the playoffs in a very dominating fashion. And then the Bucks were one of the 3 teams, I think one of the 3 teams to have defeated Philadelphia last year. So Tampa has some kind of blueprint against the Eagles over the past couple seasons. And so we'll see if that continues. And it's also the battle of the Sooner quarterbacks. We have Baker Mayfield versus Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, if you count Hurts, but
one season of Hurts. We'll go that one season of Hurts.
Well, yeah, I mean, Baker didn't spend his whole college there. I saw Baker more as a Sooner. Hurts kind of showed up after playing for Bama. He showed up for 1 year. I don't know. That's just, it's different in my head. But yes, it is the battle of Sooner quarterbacks. We'll have to see if Baker can do it.
Yeah.
If Philly will finally run out of steam.
Well, hopefully it's not too bad because we have to play Philly next week. So don't want them to play mad. But remember, any given Sunday. That's the key. That's the key word for this episode, or the key 3 words. All right, now we get into our game. So Monday nights. For those of you that are on Broncos Fashion Watch, the Broncos are going with the Midnight Navy jerseys for Monday Night Football. They haven't decided yet what helmet or what pants they're going to wear yet, but we know for a fact that those amazing blue jerseys are going to make their appearance for the first time this season. This might be the only time we see them this season, but it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be glorious. We won't see a whole lot of orange this time around, unless since he's wearing white with orange pants, so there'll be some orange there. But since go ahead.
Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
The Bengals. Speaking of the Bengals, they've suffered their first loss of 2025 by a drubbing from Minnesota. This is a rematch of the 2024 game that ended up going into overtime. When Bo Nix and Marvin Mims made that beautiful connection in the corner of the end zone on a 4th down with 8 seconds to go in the game to drive into overtime. And then overtime, I kind of went J.R. Smith that part of it out. And so...
What do you mean we were tied?
Yeah. Do you mean the game didn't end in a tie? I thought it did.
No, I think J.R. Smith knows that part. I just find I have that sticker at work and I see it every day and it makes me laugh.
The sticker? Oh, the J.R. Smith
No. It's I sent it to you when I found it last year.
Gotcha.
It's his face where he looks high as hell.
Yeah.
And he's, when he's looking like this and what do you mean we were tied? Because that's what he said. He says in that moment he didn't realize they were tied.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yes.
When they've interviewed him since then, he said, I didn't realize we were tied at that point.
Sheesh.
So I just love that sticker. I was just like, huh? What do you mean we were tied?
What do you mean we're tied? This can be a huge test for the Broncos for AFC playoff contention. At first, this was going to be a marquee matchup, especially with the Knicks versus Burrow round 2. Unfortunately, Joe Burrow is not going to be playing in this game. We're going to get Jake Browning, which I've heard he is a very serviceable backup. It's just that he kind of had a bit of a bad game against the Vikings. But keep in mind, Cincinnati still has Jamar Chase. They still have T. Higgins. If Jake Browning can get them the ball, they can get some things done. Although, however, Jamar Chase has, like you mentioned, Derrick Henry has had some issues with ball security. Jamar Chase has had a little bit of ball security issues himself. The Bengals have been very turnover prone. They are a -6 so far this season in the turnover margin, with them only getting 4 turnovers or only getting 4 takeaways and then giving the ball away 10 times. Chase, like I said, Chase Higgins still be threats. So Patrick Surtain needs to play like the MVP, the defensive player of the year that I know he can be. That Broncos fans know that he can be. And Moss has looked pretty decent the last 2 games, so we need him to elevate that up a little bit. There'll also be some return of former Broncos players Noah Fant and Dalton Reisner.
I miss Dalton Reisner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do a big preview on this because it's not Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same story. We need Vance Joseph to coach the defense, to rattle the backup quarterback and take him out of the game, and you need Sean Payton to get the line to block for the run and not abandon the run game, and call up a scheme that Bo can be successful at.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I still don't see many seams. I still don't see them throwing to the part of the field that he loves to throw to. I see things where Peyton reads the defense and goes, "Oh, okay, I'll dial it up," and then he dials up a great play. But I mean, you've got to get something in place where we go get 4 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards, 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, and move the ball and get in a rhythm because when an offense can't get in rhythm, it doesn't score.
Right. Absolutely.
And y'all need to review the rule book and not throw penalties, not draw penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Don't commit them. Don't do things that look like you're committing them. And freaking God, you have to line up with the center's belt. And you're allowed, if you're out there, you're allowed to ask the ref.
Yeah.
Ask the ref if you're unsure.
It's rather be sure than cost the team 5 yards.
Well, and then it's 2nd and 15. So, like we talked about, no team's going to be successful when only 3 of your first downs are less than 8 yards.
Right.
To go.
Make those. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's just too far.
Yeah.
It's an unsustainable drive. You've got to put drives together. So, we have a whole bunch of stuff we've got to deliver on. And it doesn't matter who we're playing at this point. These things have to happen for Denver to be successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You actually said everything. My keys to victory were pretty much all you said. Limit penalties, sustain drives, and I did say win the turnover battle since Cincinnati's a -6 so far this season. Let's get some receivers involved too. So, with that being said, you had this as a loss, if I'm not mistaken, before the season started.
Well, yeah, I didn't think we'd beat Burrow on Monday night.
So now that Jake Browning's the quarterback, what are your thoughts?
I'm not going to change my pick.
Are you going to keep it as a loss?
I'm going to keep it as a loss.
Okay. I thought you were going to say more.
I mean, it's just neither unit of this team has me thinking that we can go anywhere and win a game.
That's fair. That's fair. So with that said, I think I had it as a win. And I think with how high pressure this game is, I'm going to keep it as a win. Because we got to try to get some momentum if we're going to. This will be like the big test to see. Yes, I know we're not playing the Bengals at 100%, but you got to win the games that are in front of you. And this is a very big opportunity for Denver to do that. And so I think the defense will create enough pressure, throw Browning off his game. Hopefully Bo Nix will get time to settle. I don't think that, since he did do a little bit to improve on defense over the offseason, but the defense itself didn't allow 48 points, but the team as a whole just allowed 48 points after allowing 27 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, well, the first game they were pretty good, but the fact they allowed 20 plus points the last 2 games makes me think that if Denver's defense can have at least a par to maybe a decent enough game, that they can win this game. But as you said, any given Sunday, or in this case, any given Monday. So I'll keep it as a win, but cautiously optimistic, let's say.
Okay.
And with all that said, I think that's all we have for this evening.
That is all we have for this evening.
All right. Care to close us out then?
Okay. As always, you can find me on X at I Love to Lead.
You can find me at TieFlyGuy15.
You can find us both at the same time.
And it's scrolling down there in in_com_plete_2.
Because there's two of us. We're also on Instagram, same handle,
Yep.
in_com_plete. All those DMs are open for song requests, guest requests, topic requests, questions, comments, and concerns, challenge flags. Whatever your heart desires, we ask that you be respectful and stay clothed. Ty always laughs at that, but
No, I believe it. I believe it. However, if sliding into our DMs is not for you,
oh yeah,
you can
then
finish
we
it.
have an email.
in_com_plete_2. And also keep in mind that it is down there. Oh, it says there. We go live every Wednesday at 9:15 Thai time, 8:15 Central, 7:15 Mountain Time, which is where most of you probably are, and importantly, 6:15 Kelly time. And right down there, get your questions on YouTube, which I kind of try to show how that is. But if you can't watch us, which I understand, it's late and it's a Wednesday. We do always have the audio version of the podcast, which is on wherever you listen to your podcasts, whether it be Apple, Spotify, iHeart. And that's usually available within 24, 48 hours after we're done here. So if you want to listen to us on your commutes, we're still available there. But I ask that you leave a review, comment, tell us what you would like to see, because we love doing this show, but unless you don't tell us what you would like to see improved, we can't help you. And on that note, and until next time,
Go Broncos.
yes?